Hey, folks, welcome into the Jeff Thitoff Show. I'm Jeff Thitoff. They call me Tito, the man to my left. Defensive tackle, Rose Bowl champion, Ohio State, NFL, all around, just a good human being. Jimmie Bell. Jimmy, how are you, my friend?
I'm incredible. Hey, guys, this is a perfect example of what paying people to say nice things. You know what I'm saying? You make sure them direct deposits always hit. If the direct deposits always hit, then I can count on Tito to say that good stuff, baby.
Go to fantasysports.com. Check out our new website. Follow me on Twitter at That Happens. Lots to talk about today. College football is amazing right now. We've got the rankings coming out Tuesday of the first CFP. But Ohio State coming off a win against Penn State. They were close to the half. Penn State scored late after the fumble by Donaldson. And Ohio State was into the half with just 17-14 lead, but then pulled away in the third quarter, winning 38-14. And something that Ohio State did under Knowles, but even on Ryan Day before that, though, it seems to me, if you go back and look at the numbers, Ohio State rarely gets outplayed in the second half of games, which says a lot about the coaching staff. But you look at it like this 17-14 half, Ohio State outscores them 21-0. In the second half, it was Penn State never challenged. And I think that's one of the underrated positive traits about Ryan Day and even Matt Patricia to this point, though, is the way they make the adjustments, not only in game, but at the half when they go in there for the break.
I think what we're seeing, bro. So I'll give you an example. Everyone talked about, man, Penn State stinks. I'm like, get out of here. No, they don't. And I think what's happening is, consider this. We got the best of what we were going to get from Penn State, even in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Period. And what the fans need to understand is that it's not so much everybody else is so bad. People do that. Wins and losses. I'm like, listen, sometimes wins and losses are exactly how they are. Sometimes you got to put them in context. In this space, you got to be like, no, Ohio State is literally this good.
Right.
That's how Alabama was in a lot of the years that Slickety-Nickety was. It didn't matter if it was 7-7 in the first quarter or 14-3 at the halftime. It's the buildup of the consistency that's going to show you exactly who that team is, right?
Yeah.
So I think this year, that's exactly what you're seeing, man. He got these dudes playing not necessarily against the team that they're playing. That's an obvious matter. But they're playing against themselves.
Right.
They're continuously trying to be the best version of themselves every week, every snap, every quarter. And that's the beauty at what we're seeing. These dudes are getting better every single snap, bro.
Going back to when you were playing for Ohio State, did you get the same vibe that whenever you played somebody, they were like geared up to beat Ohio State and beat the brand? Or is it more so now, you think?
No, it's always been that way. It's always... Ohio State has always had the bullseye. For some reason, Ohio State has always been the team that everyone has felt that they needed to beat.
Okay.
To me, it was more what's the energy that they came into the shoe with. For instance, back in my day, the Silver Bullets used to be feared, extremely feared, in my opinion. People used to be scared to come into the shoe. Well, when Big Herb got here, I think that died off, and then everyone tried to figure out how do we stop the offense,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And now we're just getting back, like this year, maybe some of last year, getting back to the Ohio State defense is being feared. If you got to watch out for something, it has to be the Ohio State defense. You see what I'm saying? So to me, that's the allure of what's happening, is how do they think that they can beat us? But we are everyone's national championship, bro.
55 points allowed in 7 games. It's amazing to think that, and I know that Ohio State's their schedule is their schedule. Everyone thought Texas would be better than they are, though Texas now is back into the mix for the CFP. But we thought Penn State would be a tougher game as far as a more established opponent when they came in here. Penn State was thought about as being a top 3 team in the country in the preseason, obviously. But nonetheless, I still contend that if you give up less than 10 points a game in today's college football world, and you're dominating games the way Ohio State is, to where it's sometimes the backups are in the game in the second half or the third string guys in the fourth quarter, whatever, and to still not allow a slip up to where someone scores 21 on you or 28 or something like that. That's really impressive to me.
Yeah. And again, this year is a little bit different for an Ohio State team because, for instance, again, I always bring up Slickety Nickety.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama was always in the state of developing and developing and developing. I'm talking about from week to week.
Right.
Because they didn't care what year you were in. They didn't care about bureaucracy. It was like who had the best practice that week was generally going to be the guy who played.
Sure.
So that's where the Buckeyes are right now, bro. We're when we first started this thing the beginning of this year, Jay, I said it's new, it's new, it's new. And I don't think people really understand what I mean when I say that. We don't have any backups.
Fair.
We don't have any freaking backups, bro. You got to play.
Yeah.
Our too deep is you could flip and be the starters. We don't have any backups. So now when you do get to where another guy is going to get a little bit more time than he normally gets,
right?
He could be the starter the next week. You see what I'm
sure,
saying?
Yeah.
We don't have any backups. We watched two freshmen do extremely well Saturday.
Yeah.
Running backs.
Yeah.
We don't have any. We got a couple positions. Yeah, the vets are wide receivers are vets, so to speak. The quarterback, you're not going to rotate him. But other than number 2, I'm gonna call him AKA what do you call it? Target, Mr. Target.
Yeah.
And Sonny, bro, there is no too deep. There's who's going into play. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So when you get deep, bro, we're playing with the same homies, bro.
You mentioned the running back situation. Bo Jackson had 13 carries, 105 yards this week.
Incredible.
Yes, and the offensive line, they looked better, I think. And I heard Carson talk about that, the fact that they were really focused on that coming into this week after what happened, after the way they didn't run the ball that well at Wisconsin. And you look at these Ohio State this weekend. I don't want to say they were punched in the mouth for the first time, but to have a chance at extending a lead and fumbling late to where Penn State makes it close, I think it was good for Ohio State to go in just up 17-14 at the half and have to adjust. And Ryan Day said, his message at the half, because I know Ryan Day is big on winning the middle 8, last 4 of the second quarter, first 4 of the third quarter. And they came out and scored right away in the third quarter. But I like the fact, I don't want to see Ohio State have a trail or be close games like that, but I like the fact, though, that Ohio State was only ahead by 3 at the half and had to do something about that.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get the fans to understand. And I get it. Fans want to be the best means where no one else is in our arena and whoever else good, they suck because we beat them. Like, no, man, stop that. Oh, I needed Penn State to give us all that they had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because one thing that I did think that I was figuring is that Penn State was going to be very consistent at something we hadn't seen all year. Whether we were tougher than them, they were going to come out and be tough, consistent.
Right.
Whether their running game was good or not, according to our defense, they were still going to continue to try to pound it in there as opposed to doing other things. Same thing on the other side of the ball. So you're totally right. We got out of that Penn State game everything that we needed to see that we hadn't seen. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
To me, you don't want to get into, the last 2 games of the season and not have any level of adversity. You don't want to go into the playoffs with no nothing that you have to deal with.
Right.
So I think we got Penn State, hallelujah, that they were our placebo.
Right.
But we got everything out of them that we needed to get out of them for us to be a better to come out to be a better team.
Yeah, I don't see much of a challenge the next 3 weeks with Purdue on the road. Who cares? West Lafayette. No one's going to be there. 1:00 kick. Well, it'll be Buckeye fans will be there. Then they host UCLA and Rutgers, which should be easy wins also before they travel to Michigan. And yeah, I said a lot. My hope is that the Michigan game is a tough game, but a victory, and then they get a chance to play hopefully number 2 Indiana when that all shakes out in the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
That would be a great way to go to the playoff. versus last year going into the playoff on a loss. I know it worked out just fine, but much rather go in there with the wins over Michigan in Ann Arbor and then Indiana in the Big Ten Championship.
You know, we're in a very privileged position with the 12. So I love the 12. I love the playoff.
Yeah.
I'd never liked the 4. I thought that was the worst guessing game.
Sure.
I think who was that? Soda Soul. When we play this guessing game, yes, right? I thought that was the dumbest. That was the wackest. That 4 playoff was awful.
Yeah,
I love the 12, and but what Ohio State has to understand, and we haven't done a totally good job of understanding. We have 2 legitimate seasons now. A lot of teams, they have a regular season. Yeah, they get the playoffs, but it's all kind of one thing.
Sure.
Because the Michigan game means so much to us. The 12 hasn't diminished it. It means the same thing. It has the same feeling.
Right.
The tough part is how do you take that same feeling of when you lose and you're disgusted and you want to jump in a coffin and seal it from the inside with super glue. You gotta understand now we have another season. Right. We have a totally another season, man. So I don't think that the fans have totally kind of gotten to the full understanding of that. But all in all,
yeah,
we gotta beat Michigan this year. It's not even an option.
I get blasted when I say this, and I feel very confident and strong in my convictions on this one. The Michigan game means as much emotionally, means as much to me as it always has.
100%.
But it's not as important as it used to be in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you got to explain that.
Because look at last year. They lose to Michigan, but then win the Natty.
Okay, let me ask you this. Not as important. So you have to decipher. Not as important to whom?
Not as important to the season.
Okay, absolutely. 100%. That's why I say we got 2 seasons.
Yeah, yes.
Right, absolutely. Now, important to the institution?
Sure, that's not going to change, yes.
Yeah, important to the... So even, Big Doug Worthington's like, man, I handed all of eyes gold pants in for a national championship. Like, you say that now.
Right.
Because you haven't lost.
Yeah, right. You don't have to do it. Right,
You got 5 gold pants. You literally have never lost to Michigan. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know the drama.
Yes.
So to say, I handed all my gold pants for 1 national title. Dougie Doug, I'm clowning you. Of course you say that.
Sure.
But those of us who have experienced the loss, Ryan Day right now, he's going to say, I love this natty, but I got to beat Michigan, bro.
Yes. But what's going to, when you look at Ohio State fans, though, I wonder if we took an honest poll, would they, if I said you can beat Michigan and not win the Natty?
Beat Michigan.
Or lose Michigan and win the Natty?
I'll put your kid on this table.
Oh, come on.
He'll call
Jimmie.
me. He'll call me Big Daddy. He calls you Daddy. He'll be my son.
Jimmie.
He'll be my little vanilla wafer. I'll be like, get over here, little vanilla wafer. Get over here, my little macadamian.
Oh, Jimmie, I don't.
That's bro. And listen, I think it's silly too. So I'm in your space.
Right.
So don't get my truth
twisted
with what I feel.
Sure.
I think it's silly, but bro, listen, there is no, especially for us.
Right.
Michigan actually has another rival.
Well, they like Michigan State. They like to say it's their rival.
That's their rival.
Sure,
but it is.
I know, but like Michigan, though, I think that it's it's not on the same level as Ohio State,
legit but for them, it's just equally as important that they can't lose that game.
Right.
It's a regional. It's just as much as a rival as Alabama-Auburn. You see what I'm saying?
Sure,
for them.
Yes.
But Ohio State, Michigan is another level, but we don't have any other rival, bro. We have not one, bro. We ain't even got, bro, we don't even have a stern dislike. Like we have nothing, minus playing the competition. Bro, we are Michigan, and it'll always be that way. And it's almost like the same Michael Jordan syndrome, right?
Right.
There'll be no other number one, no matter how good LeBron is,
Right.
no matter how good anyone else is,
Sure.
no one will ever be better than Michael Jordan. Well, Woody did that.
Yeah.
Woody made the Michigan game so paramount that nothing else when it comes to Ohio State matters except that damn Michigan game, bro.
So the three reasons really that Ohio State, Michigan got as big as it got back in the Woody days was for geographically, for one thing. You know, they had like the battle for Toledo, which unfortunately we won. But anyway, we got Toledo. So they there was the bloodshed.
Do we really want Toledo though? Hallelujah.
Toledo's maybe.
I'll take a couple of Pacquiao hot dogs, chili dogs.
So the geographical part's one part. The other part is that the winner of the pinnacle for the Big Ten, for a Big Ten team, was the Rose Bowl.
Absolutely right.
Okay,
absolutely.
And it came down to Ohio State, Michigan. Like you were going to either play in the Rose Bowl or not, and it always came down to Ohio State, Michigan.
4 years,
right? And also on top of it, the third reason is, Jimmy, and I don't think a lot of people know this. For years, the Big Ten had a rule that only one team could go to a bowl game. And so
I didn't know that.
There were a lot of, like in the 60s and 70s, the early 70s when they changed it, I think maybe it might have been 1970. Like the 50s and 60s, though, if you went undefeated but then lost to Michigan, you weren't going to a bowl game. Your season was over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so like it got bigger even then, because now it's like not only is it the Rose Bowl, which is the best the Big Ten could do for all those years, but it's also you're done for the season. Back then it was the Saturday before Thanksgiving, and your season's over then versus getting practice and more of that to play in January 1st in the bowl game. So that's when it got huge, and that's no longer the case. Yes, there's the emotional tie in there, and I want nothing more, and people get pissed at me for this too, but I know this from watching your teams play, but I want Michigan to be undefeated every time they come to play Ohio State, and Ohio State to make their fans cry. Because I know we had some good teams in the Cooper years that were much better than Michigan. But you had Biaka Batuka, Colasar. You had guys like that who came in and made these great plays and had like the one, you know. And so
I've always thought we were, and I'm not going to say so much better, but I've always thought that we were the majority of the time, Ohio State has been the better team. One way or the other, they've been the better team.
And I know what it feels like to feel like going there with a better team, like as a fan, I'm saying, to go in there with the team that you root for being the better team and come up short against a team that's inferior. And it's at the end of the season against Michigan, the rivalry and all that. And I want Michigan to feel it. People think that means I root for Michigan. I don't root for Michigan. But I would love for Michigan fans to feel.
You want them to feel the pain.
Yes.
So now you get it. You just articulated how much that game means, just from a different perspective that touches your soul. So think about how what you just so eloquently described emotionally, bro. That's how people feel regular. You just put it in a silo that you could explain it this way, but that's how important that is. They don't give a dang about that national title, bro. They don't. They think about it, bro. This is how goofy Ohio State fans are. When we lost that Michigan game, they literally dang near petitioned that we didn't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, are you out of your mind? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not saying I would ever do that, but if it was true, I probably wouldn't have. I probably would agree with you, but we were the best team in the land that got beat by a rival.
Right, yeah.
The best team in the land. I told it's all documented. I didn't waver one bit on how good we were, pound for pound, player for player. But the Ohio State fans, after that Michigan game, bro, were literally like, man, nice to know who.
Right.
Man, get out of here. And the only thing that that national title really did for Ryan Day is award him another year.
It bought him time.
For the fans. Bought him time.
It did. Yeah, bought him time.
It just bought him time, bro. But it's closer. And right now, we're just feeling good.
Yeah.
Feeling good. So it's almost like you messed up in first period. You know, you was a kid, you messed up in first period.
Right.
And you know you was gonna get that ass beat when you got home. But the day's long, bro. You having a good time. It's probably Friday pizza day.
Yeah.
Pizza, peanut butter, cookies, and applesauce on top of milk. What was they putting in this, bro? They was bubbling our guts on purpose. But nonetheless, the more that you looked at that clock, it's like 1:30. And you're like, oh, snap. 2 o'clock,
Right.
you're like, damn. 3 o'clock, you get off that bus, you know mama gonna have that belt and tear in that ASSS, baby. You feel what I'm saying? So right now, we're on a high.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro, after next week, bro, watch. You're gonna hear the better wins. You better win.
Yeah.
You gotta win. You're gonna hear the gotta wins, the better wins, nothing but the wins after next week. We'll get a Purdue reprieve.
Yeah. We get UCLA and Rutgers.
You know what? We'll get it. It'll start happening the week of the UCLA game. Watch.
And by the way, to stress the importance of Michigan, I heard that Urban Meyer, when he was here, every year in the game before Michigan, he did everything he could to make sure Ohio State had a noon game the week before, because he wanted that. If they played at 3:30, that's 3.5 hours less of prep time.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? It's like he would say, like, if there was a chance for a night game, he'd say, nope, I want a noon game. I want to have as much time as possible to prepare for that.
Yeah,
the game of Michigan, which I love, and I wish the game was here this year, but it'll be sweeter to get a win at Michigan too and go out there. And honestly, as a fan, the best thing to happen to the rivalry is Michigan started winning some games.
Yeah,
because Ohio State winning every year. Like, look, Ohio State, they beat Penn State's ass all the time. And so it diminished a little bit for me, because I think Penn State since 2002 has won twice against Ohio State, and they've played every year.
Yeah.
And so it's, as much as I hate seeing Michigan win, it's good for the rivalry if Ohio State doesn't win every single year.
I think Michigan needs to look their best.
Yeah.
They don't need to have the wins necessarily. And what I mean by that, they don't look like they are underachieving. Right now, they don't look like they're underachieving.
Sure. Yeah.
They look very honest, in my opinion. They look very, very honest with where they are, the talent that they have, the stuff that they've been through. Now, if they would be looking like UCLA, USC or Nebraska,
right?
Then it'd be like, man, they just look like crap. You know what I'm saying? It'll be even Penn State. We would be talking about how crappy they look. I don't think we're having that conversation right now. I think we're looking at it like, hey man, they're obviously rebuilding, but they're still playing hard. The expectation is that they should win some games, and they are winning games, right? They're winning them close, but they still look a little tough, right? They look Michigan-ish. So as long as we get that, I don't think that it has to be a whole total. They have to win every single game, and I don't think people are treating it like that either. When I hear the national talk about Michigan, I don't think they're giving them a lot of grace, bro. They're giving them grace.
They barely beat Purdue this weekend.
Yeah, they're giving and they're talking about it like, man, what an incredible win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yes,
You see what I'm saying? They said, I'm like, wait, who did they play?
Right, I know.
Like, well, Michigan pulled it out. Gosh, a great Michigan. I'm like, man, get the hell out of here with that.
Wait to see what Ohio State does Purdue this weekend. You know what I mean? What happens then? Then you can measure the two of that.
You get me,
Yeah, a couple of schools that have talked their way back into the playoffs now are Texas and Oklahoma. They both have 2 losses. Texas has 2 losses, already Ohio State and Ole Miss has proven to be pretty good. That's Texas's 2 losses. Now they close out at Georgia, they host Arkansas, and they host Texas A&M. So they've got 2 opportunities there. Georgia and A&M are both in the top 5. They got 2 opportunities there to get some key wins there. Even if they lose one of those 2, though, a 3-loss Texas team, if their 3 losses are Ohio State, Ole Miss, and either Georgia or A&M, that's not terrible.
But they're just not a good team. They're not a. Well, we're talking 12 though. Okay, let's take the SEC right now.
Right.
The best team, the best team when the playoff comes out, the best team in the country may actually be A&M. A&M may get number 1.
Sure, they might. Yeah,
they may be number 1. So you got A&M, you got Alabama,
right,
who looks very, very strong Washington-ish, right?
Yeah,
and that's what they are. So you got 2. So I don't even think Texas, like some things, but everyone would have to implode,
right,
for Texas to be the front runner for that 3rd spot. You see what I'm saying?
Because Ole Miss is in there right now.
You got Ole Miss you got to consider. You got Vandy that you have to consider.
Right.
And those are probably the 2 before you get to Texas and before you get to Oklahoma right now. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So So, man, Texas best, bro.
Oklahoma's last 3 games are at Alabama, host Missouri, host LSU. So
And they could lose all 3 of those.
They could lose all 3. I think I don't see him winning at Alabama. John Mateer's a great player, though. Like I really thought when they had their comeback against, was it Auburn? I think back in week 3 when Mateer had a fantastic game before he got hurt and everything. I thought he would have been the front runner for the Heisman there. But I do believe that if Texas and Oklahoma both end up with 3 losses, I think at least one of them will get in. And
so you think 4 teams in the SEC?
I think 4 in the SEC get in. Maybe, actually, honestly, it might be 5. It might be 5 in the SEC because I just think that people are going to look at because they're going to look at the rankings is what they're going to look at, right? They're going to look at the rankings of the teams, and right now you've got, as far as the SEC is concerned, right now you've got what you got number 3 A&M, 4 Alabama, 5 Georgia, 7 Ole Miss. You've got Oklahoma's there 12, Texas 13, Vandy is 16, Missouri 17.
Yeah.
Tennessee 22.
Was talking about how unfair. This is just such an obvious garbage, but it'll end up washing itself out.
Yeah.
When people are saying, look at some of these Big Ten schedules and teams, how come they're not in the mix, right? How come Illinois isn't ranked in the mix? How come your Iowa? What is Iowa ranked?
Iowa right now, let me double check on that one. Iowa's ranked. They're down near the bottom, 24th. 24th in the coaches, not ranked in the AP. They were the top. They were 26th, I guess, in the AP. So yeah,
how come they're not
right
in the mix? And we fizzled out. Not that I'm sitting here thinking about it, but we have 3 super duper solid, and when you play spades, we have a possible. So Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana. And then you have Iowa, it should be, I think. And then Illinois has an opportunity with 2 losses to be in the mix. So if you put in 5 Big Ten teams, yeah, I guess you can put in 5 SEC teams, but you can't. It has to be 4 and 4, right? Like if you think about it, it's going to be 4. That's 8.
Notre Dame
9,
makes 9.
10. Notre Dame's not going to get in, bro. I think they are. I don't think they're going to get in. Why they need to get into a conference to save them now? It's not going to work out.
They got
favor.
Navy, Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. They're going to win out, and their 2 losses will be to one Miami, which will not looking so great now, and the other one to A&M.
I don't think it's a gimme though, bro. I just don't think they're. I think they're in that. So I think you got Michael Jordan, you got Allen Iverson, and then you have the other good teams. I think they're in the other good teams. I wouldn't even put them in that Allen Iverson space right now, bro. They don't deserve that. They're not in there with Texas A&M. They're not in there with Oregon.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Those are your Allen Iversons right now.
See, I think the Big Ten only gets in 3. I think because USC still has to play Oregon. I think Oregon wins that game. That would give USC 3 losses there. I think they would be out because of that.
Never counted on them. I told you they're lazy.
Iowa's got to play USC, Michigan State, Nebraska. Iowa could win all 3 of those. If they win their game against USC on the road there, that would be a big one for them if they could do that. USC just beat Nebraska. Matt Rule after signing his extension. Now they lose Dylan Raiola for the season. Matt Rule's now lost 19 straight games against ranked teams as a college head coach. Nebraska has lost 29 straight to ranked teams. 29 straight games Nebraska's lost to teams that are ranked, and not saying ranked top 5, top 10. I'm just saying top 25. Like USC was 22. And so
why listen, bro. You know me, Tito. You know Tito. You know I'm gonna be like, what y'all thinking? Why would we think they would win any? Bro, they're a bad program that we look at the Tom Osborne era.
Yeah.
As if it's today.
I know. No, yeah, you're right. But I'm saying,
bro, it's not they ain't been there in a long time, bro.
Did Penn State dodge a bullet with Rule signing with Nebraska for 2 more years? I think they did. I think they got lucky because I think that Penn State would have gone hard after him, and I think it would have been a mistake.
Why would it have been a mistake?
Because I see what he's doing. The fact he's lost 19 straight games against ranked teams.
See, I don't do that. It's too much context. Too much context. I don't know how he would be at Penn State. I think that would be the antithesis of a lateral move. I don't know why. Okay, just put it in the general space. Matt Rule ain't done nothing.
No, I know. Yeah,
Matt Rule ain't like Matt Rule is where he should be. He's an average coach,
right.
That's proved to be average,
Right.
At an average program that does average things.
I'll put it to you this way: if I ask Rihanna out and she says no, okay, I look like an idiot. But if Rihanna comes out first and says, I'm not going out with Jeff, then it doesn't look so bad for me because I didn't try. Penn State would have taken their shot with Rule and he would have said, no, I'm staying here. It looks bad for Penn State. If Matt Rule says publicly, I want Penn State's maybe an offer, I want to be at Nebraska, it looks bad for Penn State if Matt Rule would turn you down. And now he's already said ahead of time, look, I don't want to date Tito. That he's trying to do the Rihanna card. And so,
but you know what Jim's going to say? I'm going to say, man, you can have that crazy ass girl. She crazy. She average too. Take Rihanna off of it. She cute. But bro, I'm going to go to the hood and get another cute girl to look cuter than Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? She crazy. Back out of here. But yeah, so I'm with you. That's actually a really dope analogy. But Matt's average, bro. Matt is not, and he's smart. When he did that, when he took that money, I said, that's a smart man.
Yeah.
Because he understands the whole totality of the game. I'm average.
Right.
I'm at an average program.
Mm-hmm.
They give me just enough resources to have a conversation. If I go to Penn State, it's going to be a very similar average program, but with non-average expectations. Nope. Not doing it.
The Auburn job is open now. And so Auburn, Penn State, LSU, Florida, all open right now. And you had Cignetti sign his deal with Indiana. He's not going anywhere. You had Rule just do this. Rule's not going anywhere. And I wonder, and I said this on the radio today, that every time like a coach like Rule or Cignetti signs an extension that takes him out of the running for the big jobs, Lane Kiffin gets more money. Because now, that's going to be, there's no backup. I don't think, James Franklin's not the backup. There's no backup plan for LSU in Florida other than Lane Kiffin.
But people are so lazy, bro. They are so lazy, bro. These schools, and you know what? You should deserve to get a financial hit, and you should deserve to look stupid.
Right.
If you think your only option is damn Lane Kiffin, who is another very average coach.
Okay.
Who understands the totality of the game. He understands the marketing piece of it. He understands
social media. He gets all that.
He understands that.
Yep.
If you think that he's your savior, you're freaking lazy. You're lazy.
He's done just enough, though.
There isn't a program out there that Lane Kiffin is going to make better. What job does Lane Kiffin, based upon his history, be honest?
Okay.
Not some, well, if he would have at the Raiders and if he would have at Tennessee and if he would have. Nope.
Oh.
Give me what he's done.
Okay.
To show you that he's that guy to change Penn State, Florida, LSU.
Okay. Lane Kiffin's, the best thing Lane Kiffin got going from him early was the fact his last name was Kiffin.
There you go. That's what I told you not to do.
But I'm saying, the Raiders hired him way too early. He was 32 or whatever when the Raiders hired him. He was not going to succeed. He was not ready to be head coach at that point. He goes to Tennessee, right? And he is so immature at that point. He says, I'm here forever. He named his son that was born when he was at Tennessee, he named him Rocky. Okay, so he did that. And then escaped after 1 year to USC and wasn't really, look, I think he got to be a head coach way too early. And I think he's matured since then. I think he's a good coach. I think Ole Miss, he's taken Ole Miss to heights they have not witnessed in a long time. And I think that
what height is that, bro?
Well,
you're talking about a midget. A midget. He gave a midget.
They're a top 10 team.
You gave midget platform shoes. No, what are you talking about, Tito?
They're a top 10 team.
A top 10 of what, bro? They haven't done anything, bro. You got to do something. He's an average coach, bro. Okay, check this out.
Yeah.
Ole Miss has the probability, if Lane is this guy, then they should be in the running every year. If he's that guy,
right?
He's not that guy. And they don't even really have the expectation but people are panicking. People are being immature. People are being narcissistic. They're being crazy because of this Indiana coach and the new space of NIL and what they think they have to do. I already told you the new team, the new formula is Ohio State.
Sure.
It's not transaction. That's what Matt Rule is doing. He went somewhere that is going to allow him to build a program that's not based upon transaction. The money's there and all of that.
Right.
Give me the support. These cats is trying to do transactions. There's a better coach out there for LSU than Lane Kiffin. There's a better coach out there for Florida than Lane Kiffin. There's a better coach out there for Penn State than Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin needs to stay where he is at Ole Miss. He probably has an incredibly big house because the property is cheap there.
Right.
Inexpensive. I won't say cheap, inexpensive.
Okay.
Land's inexpensive. You feel what I'm saying? They could probably buy, he probably got a 30,000 square foot house for 3 matchbook trucks and a popsicle. You feel what I'm saying? Stay there, continue to build your space and your brand, and live happily ever after. If he goes to any of those other schools, he'll be at another school in 2 years, bro.
Among Ole Miss coaches in history of Ole Miss that have coached more than one season, he's got the second best winning percentage all time.
Ooh.
Well, it's 731.
It's like, ooh, Scooby-Doo, Scooby. How many mysteries did Scooby-Doo not? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You're talking about Ole Miss, bro.
I know, but I think that he has turned it around. I think that he has shown that he can, because he's been there 6 years, and so that's longer than his other stops. Tennessee was 1 year. USC got fired at the airport after 3.
And he's underachieved.
I don't think he's underachieved at Ole Miss.
He's underachieved. There were some of those years, brother, they thought he was going to be the guy. He underachieved. Minus Slickety Nickety.
Right.
He underachieved. And guess what he's doing this year? He's underachieving and Slick ain't even there.
I think they'll be in the playoff this year. And I think he's got them to new heights as far as if you look at the coaches before him, Matt Luke was 15-21, Hugh Freeze 39-25, Houston Nutt 18-26, Ed Orgeron 10-25, and he's eclipsed all those guys as far as winning goes. But regardless, though, both Florida and LSU are going to make a play for Lane Kiffin. They both will.
Insane.
I think James Franklin, Virginia Tech or Auburn probably.
I thought he was locking Virginia Tech up.
Not yet. I don't think it's happened yet. But the fact I don't think nothing's been announced. Maybe something's been done behind the scenes. But I'm saying
he would be incredible for James.
I think so too. I think that's a good fit for him.
That would be perfect. Go off into the sunset. He'll turn that program around. Yep. And listen, I'm honest. Around don't mean national title.
Right. Yeah.
Around don't mean top 10. Around just means you're going to have some solid recruits. They're going to play hard.
Right.
You're going to bring Virginia Tech back into the hard, consistent program that they used to be back in the day.
Right.
They used to do everything. They used to produce athletes. They used to be strong. And Brady just fell off, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. After Frank Beamer left, yeah.
Great, right. Big Beam. Great place for him, bro.
Let's switch gears to the NFL. And yesterday, the Bengals, good Lord, they had that game won so many times it looked like, and then they gave up a big play at the end of the Bears. They lose 47-42. Joe Flacco throws for 470 yards, and that defense, they've got a rough stretch coming up now too. They're sitting there now on 3-5, and although they're only 2 games behind Pittsburgh for the division, I can't see any way that Cincinnati can compete in this now. If you look at the schedule coming up now, the Bengals' next 5 games, I'm going to call it up here because I want to make sure I get this right, but I know they're at Pittsburgh coming up. That's one of the games. They've got to play Baltimore twice. Here's their schedule. They're at Pittsburgh. They host the Patriots. They're at Baltimore, at Buffalo, host the Ravens.
That's what his Ravens was like. Oh, they're done. It's over.
5 games, they're 3-6.
But what did we expect? You know what I'm saying? That's just honesty. They needed at the minimum for them to consider that they had anything life going on. They needed to beat Chicago, who's not a good program right now.
Right.
And it's very obvious whenever you see them.
Sure.
But I ain't gonna lie to you, it's documented. I said, y'all are crazy thinking Caleb Williams is like, I don't know where this talk came from, bro. There was nothing that dude showed me at Oklahoma, and there was zero that showed me when he was at USC that he was this transcendent, going to come into the NFL and do some things. And that dude is having a hard time.
If he's with the 49ers or the Vikings instead of the Bears, if one of those two teams drafted him instead of the Bears, I think we'd have a different view of Caleb just because of how well Shanahan can develop, I think, quarterbacks. I think it might be a different look then. But in the last two games, the Bengals have scored 80 points and lost both of them. And after that win against the Steelers, everyone thought, myself included, thought, they get Burrow back soon enough because I figured they're going to beat the Jets and the Bears, both home games for them. And they lose both of them despite scoring 80 points. And I can't believe how many great careers Browns and Bengals franchises have wasted.
Oh, ruined.
It's
like ruined, bro. Like literally, I hate to say it like that. And I know it's not intentional, but ruined. And they continue to do it. They can't get out of their way. They can't. And the funny part to me, sometimes you go through life, right? And you look at different things that happen and you have your opinions and your perspective, but some stuff is so obvious. And you're like, you know what? Like some people got to know I'm a bad person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I be thinking to myself, you're a bad person. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then if you don't, that's even more crazy.
Yeah.
The Bengals got to be like, hey, man, we suck up here. I'm talking dads, moms, aunties, uncles, grandkids, unborn kids, because that's who's running the program. You got to be like, man, we suck. Even the people, listen, that's even beyond the Browns. At least the Browns continue to keep selling itself off.
Yeah, right.
So they get a new owner who thinks, man, I can do this.
Right.
I can do this. And he get in there and be like, what the hell did I buy? I bought this lemon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the Bengals?
I know. And the Steelers, I can't figure them out either. Their defense looked so bad 2 games before this and looked great against Indianapolis yesterday. They had a fantastic game against Indy.
That was a big time win.
Yeah.
If people don't understand, Indy turned something around. And to be honest with you, they're probably on paper and playing the most complete team in the league, bro. They got the running game popping. They got the passing game popping. The defense is solid. The quarterback is solid. Like, minus just the fact that we know that even as of last year, they just was bad, bro.
Yeah.
A bad franchise. Bro, they are the most consistent, strongest team in the league. And this is where people don't understand about giving Aaron Aaron an opportunity to get healthy.
Right.
They didn't allow this cat to get healthy.
Nope.
They hated him so much that I don't even understand that whole y'all media people, y'all wild to me, bro.
You can't say y'all anymore. You're part of us.
I know, but not total. I'm probably half in, half out. You know what I'm saying? I like do Christian strip club parties. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm half in, half out. You know what I'm saying? But some stuff is so obvious to me, Jeff, bro. The dude had an Achilles injury.
Right. And
people were like, you on the first game of the season with the Jets.
2 plays in.
And he sucks. I'm like, what? And just say, I don't like you. I'll never cheer for you.
Right.
I don't want anything good to come out of your life. That sounds more intelligent than you expecting this dude.
Yeah.
You're blaming him for that whole season.
Right.
He comes back early.
Yeah.
And you're judging his play based off of an early coming back from an early Achilles injury that he's still hurt, bro. The dude couldn't even move, and you never gave him an opportunity. Hey, bro, I think this may be one of the most boring runs of the Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is going to give you one of the most boring runs to a championship game. I'm not going to say they're going to go to the Super Bowl, but, bro, it's going to be the most boring thing because Aaron's going to know what to do and what not to do to win the games to get them there, bro.
If you look at what Rodgers did when he came, I mean, look, you're right, came back early with the Achilles injury. He's an older cat. It takes longer to recover. The first 7 games last year, he was bad. You know why? Because he was still recovering. The last 10 games, he only threw like 4 interceptions and like, I can't remember, 17 touchdown passes, like 4 interceptions, whatever it was. And he had a great completion percentage, great passer rating. The Jets just sucked overall. And then this year, he's been exactly what the Steelers need. He is a smart quarterback. And, yesterday was 25 out of 35, threw 203 yards and 1 touchdown. But it's the defense. If the defense plays like it played yesterday, yeah, I'm with you. I think it's AFC Championship because they're going to get to host a first-round game then. I can't wait for Baltimore-Pittsburgh games this year. They play twice, including the last week of the regular season in Pittsburgh. I can't wait for those games because those games – I've told the story before, but I was talking to one of the Steelers' former team doctors from like the 90s and early 2000s, and he said when the Steelers played the Ravens – they had to use double the amount of pain medication for the team.
It goes down.
That's the way it was. But when they played, that's how physical those games were.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what Pittsburgh can do. They get they were an underdog at home to the Colts. The most complete team, though, it might be the Patriots. Vrabel's done a great job there. Drake May's playing really well. I know Stevenson got hurt. But they still haven't figured out how to use Travion Henderson yet. But Stephon Diggs is playing really well for them as well. The defense is playing solid. The Patriots, they might be the most complete team. But the funny thing is Buffalo beating Kansas City last night, and they had them on the brink of a blowout before Kansas City rallied. But that's a huge win for the Bills and for Josh Allen.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. Consistent and complete. Those teams, like. To me, they're get up teams.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels if they don't get up, what are they going to do? Right.
Right.
And the Bills looked like that a couple weeks ago, if not, I think last week or the week before.
Right.
And it's like, so how do you play like that? That's not consistent. You're playing like that. And then you play Kansas City like it's the NFC, the AFC Championship game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean when I say consistent. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl. That's where I give a team like Indianapolis their props.
Right.
Because it's hard in the NFL with injuries and all other type of stuff to be consistent. That's why, that Pittsburgh win was so doggone important. The Bills in Kansas City, man, they're going to get up for each other, bro. I don't expect anything less ever. But what happens when Pat start making mistakes because he's playing the Jaguars?
Sure, right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And the Bills look like they have no defense when they, play another team. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. So listen, and I'm not saying they're not at the top. So you got your Kansas Cities, you have your Kansas Cities, you have your Buffalo,
right?
And I think they're you have to give them that Michael Jordan status.
Yeah.
And then I think you have the Ravens because you have Lamar.
Sure.
Right? You have Lamar, and then the rest of the good teams. Then you get your Indy in there. Then you get your Pittsburgh in there. A couple of these, Jaguars are doing pretty well this year. You got your other guys. So even in my criticism, I still give those two teams Michael Jordan status.
Yeah.
But I got to give props to Indy for being consistent, bro.
Whoever's going to make the Super Bowl is going to have to beat either Buffalo, Kansas City, or both at some point in the playoffs. I mean, they're going to be in there. It's like that's what they're going to have to do. And you may have to play Buffalo on the road, depending what happens.
Is there one that you are scared of more than the other?
I would say I'm probably scared of Kansas City more when they're healthy completely. They look healthy now. I saw the stat yesterday. Josh Allen now has 72 rushing touchdowns in his career. Earl Campbell had 74. Josh Allen, by the end of this year, will probably pass Earl Campbell for most rushing touchdowns. And that's hard to believe, but that's what Allen does. But I think, the Kansas City thing, I think that Andy Reid's a better coach. I think Mahomes is the better clutch quarterback. If they have everybody healthy, I think the Chiefs are probably the tougher one.
When they're on point, I think the Bills get a ton of credit for not having to have all the pieces together because they don't have all top notch pieces, right?
They don't have the big names,
Yeah, they don't have the big name pieces where Kansas City is very noticeable if Rice isn't there. It's very noticeable if Pacheco is not there. It's very noticeable if Kelsey isn't there. It's very noticeable if someone isn't there by name and how performance on the field. Where the Bills, it really is just the Josh Allen. So he's like the second coming of Steve Young.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
He's really a Steve Young type of type of guy. And, let's see how long that lasts. I'm surprised he hasn't been hurt more.
If the season ended today, Buffalo would open up the playoffs at Pittsburgh, which would be a great game to watch. And Kansas City would be out. Kansas City right now is the 8th best team behind Jacksonville.
Yeah, and Jacksonville. How about
Jacksonville's 5-3? Yeah. So that'd be interesting to see.
Shout out to Groveport's finest, Dewan Smoot, defensive end, Groveport, Madison, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, the Jaguars. Yeah, they got to win yesterday against the Raiders. So, all right, that's it for our show today. Thanks for tuning in. Where do they find you on social media?
Jimmy, all platforms, JIMMIE, because I don't know that Y guy, BELL. And on the ISX, the know-it-alls, 9095. I'll at your boy.
There you go. I'm Tito, Jeff Thitoff. At That Happens to find me. Go to fanscreensports.com. Jimmy and I will talk later again this week.
Tito.
We didn't even talk about his Yankee hat. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.
That's a relationship. Jason Zillow.